So, what do you do when you're at work and someone comes up to you and says something disrespectful? How do you communicate when you're in distress? Emotionally, your mind is saying one thing, but then you end up wanting to do something else because you feel a certain way about what they said, how they said it, and the way they threw it at you. My name is John. I've been a public speaker for 10 plus years, and one thing I learned to do was communicate at a mastery level. And what that looks like is having the ability to talk to and have a conversation with somebody, communicate to them exactly how I feel and what's in my head, and then be okay if they don't accept it. So, if you get disrespected at work, what are you going to do? Are you going to A, get disrespectful right back? B, physically or verbally attack somebody? Or C, say something so creative and ask a question so powerful that they have to rethink why they said what they said or did what they did? The answer, just to give you a spoiler alert, is C. I'm going to show you how to do C. We're going to say something and ask a question, even if we're pissed off and angry, that resets the conversation, puts the ball back in the opponent's court, and makes sure that they answer for their crimes. So, I was dealing with an individual who was very self-centered and into themselves, and because something didn't go their way, they ended up having an attitude and getting very verbally aggressive, we'll call it, at work. And instead of, I'll say this though, I could have come back with snarky comment, disrespectful comment, sideways comment, all of the things, because anybody that saw or heard what this person said would have fully been able to be like, John, handle your business, because that was disrespectful. And I won't go into detail about what they said, but they said something along the lines of, I don't think that you are capable of understanding what it's going to take to do X. First of all, I have 2 degrees. They have 1. And while degrees just means that I was able to succeed from an educational level at a higher point than they do, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with this interaction. I will say this, my degrees are proof that I know what I'm doing. They didn't feel like I did. They then said the comment that they said in a very disrespectful, condescending, and rude tone, and then proceeded to wait for me to react so they can then use that against me in order to further indict me and to solidify what they thought was true. Here's what I did. I stopped, I processed. This is all happening in the moment now. I kept thinking deeply. I will be honest. First reaction was disrespect this person. Go at it with them right now. Let them know that you are not the one. Your name is not Neo and you are not the one. And give them a piece of my mind. However, I processed, I stopped, and you should do this too. And I literally just said, I'm sorry. Did you mean to be that rude and say something that disrespectful? And I waited. 2 things happened there. 1, I asked a question that repositioned them in the moment to stand up and stand on trial for their crime. So they either double down or back up. And 2, I remained silent until I received an answer. Too many times we react and we keep talking and we end up shooting ourselves in the foot because we didn't allow ourselves to stay in the silence and use the silence as accountability for that person. Sometimes silence is accountability. Not saying anything and maintaining eye contact and forcing that person to answer or react or do something is accountability. When I did that, she then froze for a bit and then started to stutter. Because her brain couldn't process, she wasn't receiving what she anticipated receiving. So she anticipated having a battle, anticipated going at it, argument, anticipated something just disrespectful coming from me, but they didn't get that. They got a question in a very calm tone, a very relaxed demeanor that forced them to address their rudeness. What was the outcome, you're asking? That person stormed off. But the win, they didn't get away now. The win was everybody around heard that person behave, heard and saw that person behave that way. More importantly, they saw how I reacted. And instead of getting demonized for being disrespectful back or only getting praise from those who feel like I was justified if I was disrespectful, they saw me be the bigger man, the bigger person, and commended me on my level of communication in the heat of that moment. Now, if this is something that you want to do, you're going to have to understand that you, one, have to get control of your emotions in the heat of battle, and that takes work, practice, and prayer. Two, know exactly what you want to communicate after you have gathered yourself. You only got about 30 seconds to really gather yourself. Know exactly what you want to say, what's the most important thing you want to say. And sometimes it's the question, which leads me to number 3. Ask the right question. Steal the one I just gave you. Did you mean to be that rude? Did you mean to try to hurt me? Did you intentionally say something that was disrespectful to me? Because you then ask and put the accountability on them to either double down or to admit or say sorry. Or, in my case, storm off. If this helped you, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this with somebody so they can benefit and you can level up as a communicator. I've been doing this a long time and it doesn't get easier if you ignore it. So stop missing out on promotions, opportunities, and more money and start learning how to communicate and get all 3 of those things. Remember, as always, don't play any games. Get stage ready. I'll see you in the next video.